and welcome to today's video where we are talking all about questions. Why? Because asking yourself empowering questions can not only improve your mood, but can also change your mindset. I learned this while studying with Tony Robbins during his Mastery University program, which I highly recommend. I will put the link in the description below. But according to Tony, and now me, because I have been doing this since 2019, asking yourself morning power questions can turn negative thought patterns into positive ones. And today we're going to talk all about how to do that. All right, so morning power questions. What are they? Morning power questions are a set of questions you ask yourself every morning to set up your day to be not only to feel empowered, but to feel grateful, happy, and looking forward to all of the wonderful things going on in your life. So let me give you an example. There are questions that are disempowering and questions that are empowering. So a disempowered question would be, I can't ever do anything right. And you ask yourself this negative question or disempowered question over and over and over again throughout the day. And it becomes a habit because that's the way you start to talk to yourself. So not only is that question disempowering, but probably a lot of the other things you say to yourself are also disempowering. But when you take the time to flip that switch and ask yourself empowering questions, you start to think more positively. So rather than, why can't I do anything right? You may ask yourself, what can I learn from this? So not only are you providing yourself an ability to come up with a solution or solving a problem, you're cutting out all the noise about why you're not good enough or why you can't do something. You're actually asking yourself an empowered question. And so in the morning, there are several questions that I ask myself, and to do just this, to get in the practice of talking to myself in an empowered way. And I use my notes app to write my questions down, but you could also just use a notebook or in a Word document or on a piece of paper or whatever, however you like to write yourself those notes. I just sit down when I'm having my morning cup of coffee and put them in my phone really quick. What's also cool about that is you can go back and reflect on things in the future. So like I started doing this in 2019, so I can go all the way back to 2019 and look at the questions I was asking myself and my answers. Now, I haven't done it every single day since 2019, but I have done it fairly consistently. So I do have a lot of entries that I can go back and look on. And my questions have changed as my life changes or experiences are changing in my life or whatever is going on. I may want to ask myself a different question. But there are a set of like 7 basic morning power questions that Tony talks about. And those are, what am I most happy about in my life right now? What am I proud about in my life right now? What am I grateful about in my life right now? What am I enjoying in my life right now? What am I committed to in my life right now? Who do I love and who loves me in my life right now? These are the morning power questions that Tony suggests we write down and answer. Now, I take about 3 of these, but I also add to it. My favorite one is, what am I most happy about in my life right now? And I add to it, what about that makes me happy? And also, how does that make me feel? I like including how does that make me feel because it brings emotion into it. And I feel like without emotion, there's no motion. So you need emotion for motion to move forward and make change. So when I say, what am I most happy about in my life right now? I can answer that. And then what about that makes me happy right now? And then what about that makes me feel good? And that's where the juice is for me. That's where I really start to feel good. I also like to say, what am I grateful for in my life right now? What about that makes me happy? How does that make me feel? I also ask that question almost every day. Another one might be, what do I need to do to feel connection today? And I answer that. And what about that's going to make me happy? And then how is that going to make me feel? Those are basically the three main questions I ask myself every day. But you can see how that starts to produce emotion and make you feel good rather than disempowering questions such as, what do I have to do today? When am I going to get everything done? Is anyone going to help me do anything? Let's talk about like your partner. Like, how come he never does the dishes? Or how come he never does this? Instead, you could ask yourself, what am I grateful for that my partner does? How does that make me feel? What about that makes me happy? So you're focusing on the good. You're cutting out all the negative noise. And that's how asking yourself morning power questions can really start to change your life. You really start to say in all areas of your life, positive statements rather than negative ones. Thank you so much for being here today and watching this video. I'm so glad that you were here. For more information on how asking positive questions can create a more positive mindset, make sure you check out Tony Robbins' website at www.tonyrobbins.com or check out his book, Awake the Giant Within. I'll have a link of that in the description below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below so you never miss a new video coming out. Again, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in my next video.